where are my trees?
Yeah. If you know what F. Quigley is signed for them. Alright, so it's Friday night. Tom and I were at a real estate sales conference all week, and so we've just been like cooped up in this, you know, hotel conference room all week, and so we were so excited because Tom got an email saying that the trees were going to be delivered, and that's all he wants to do this weekend. We've been watching the forecast. It's going to be okay out, and so we're so excited. We get the email notification they've been delivered. They should be outside our front door. And we get home and they're nowhere to be found. Nowhere. So he pulls it up and it says they've been delivered and someone signed for it even. And so he's on the phone right now trying to figure out where all of our trees are. Super frustrated. The directions say too with the trees when you get them that you're supposed to plant them within 3 days of getting them. So he's like, even if we get them, you know, track them down, if it's longer than 3 days, who knows if they're gonna be good. And it's not even so much, I mean, I'm sure we could get them replaced and everything. It's just, you know, now is the time where we want to be planting the garden. It's the weekend again, and it's exactly what we're planning to do this weekend. And so, so it's pretty frustrating. So I did want to come over here and check on the asparagus. So I harvested it for the first time the other night. I told my mom, I'm like, oh, I'm gonna make roasted asparagus for my dad and my brother. And she's like, I don't know if your dad likes asparagus. And I was like, oh, you wait. Everybody loves fresh from the garden asparagus, especially when you roast it, and so needless to say, they loved it. And so I see now it actually rained during the week while we were gone, and so anytime after it rains, it just like leaps out of the ground. So I'm definitely excited to pick it again, and we will have asparagus all weekend. And so so that'll be really good. And I definitely want to show you what we got done last weekend. So the rest of the weekend last weekend, after we updated you Saturday morning, was really nice, and so we got a ton done. Tom got the raised garden beds filled in with the dirt, and then we also were trying to decide, we have raspberry and strawberry plants, and so we didn't necessarily need them in the garden because they don't need to be irrigated, and because they're perennial, we were trying to find a spot where, you know, they could come up year after year and not be disturbed, but again, didn't necessarily need to take up real estate inside the garden, because we wanted to save that more for our annual vegetables. And so we got to thinking that we actually in our tree line had tons of boulders that had been picked out of the farm field around us just over the years. You know, the farmers would, when they come across a rock in the field, they would just pull it out and put it into the tree line. And so I was like, what if on the end of the garden it kind of steps down a little bit? What if we, you know, put some boulders around that, fill it in with dirt, and then we put our perennial fruit plants down there? And so Tom started digging out the rocks for that too, and I really like it. I think it's gonna look really cool. And so so this weekend we do want to finish getting the fence up around the garden. They didn't have the panels that we wanted to use at the store. They were all out of them. Everyone's doing their gardens this weekend. So we got put on the list to be notified when they come in. Haven't been notified yet, so we're kind of at a standstill with the fence, but we don't want to do the irrigation system until we have the fence up, so that our lab, like we've talked about, doesn't rip apart the irrigation system. So we're kind of, so that's why we're like, oh, we'll plant trees this weekend. It'll be perfect, right? And so hopefully we can track the trees down and it won't have to be a big deal. I noticed Tom just got off the phone, so I'm gonna see what he found out. All right, we came to sit in Tom's truck because it was a little windy outside, but I gave him a few minutes to calm down. But what do the FedEx people have to say to you?
They think that they delivered to someone else and somebody else signed for them, and now they're gone.
Yeah, like I told our friends that the frustrating part isn't even, I mean, we believe we could get them replaced, their systems.
Well, yeah, that's not the issue. It's that it's a time thing. It's we're always pressed for time. We are always pressed for time. I don't know about you, but...
Well, it's just that the weather is finally gonna be nice this weekend, and then we want to get them done so that we can like do the garden next weekend. Like it was just gonna like work out really well to get them planted. Well,
and so that like I wanted to get them in the ground as soon as I could this spring, so that the Lord can water them as much as possible naturally, and it would help us out.
Yeah.
My hands are kind of black. I was taking a tire off.
Yeah. So, but I think you're gonna go mow the lawn for a little while, which would probably be good to let
Actually, I'm not. I just took the front tires off it.
Oh, you're gonna change the tires on the
put new tires on it.
Maybe in the morning. You do enjoy mowing the lawn though. So, but I was showing them too everything we got done last weekend with the raised beds and the boulder section we're gonna do at the end. So I think
yeah, that's all cool and dandy, but where are my trees?
Yeah. So if you guys know where our trees ended up, would you please let us know? If you know what F. Quigley is who signed for them. We probably will go around to our neighbors though.
Well, that's the thing, like, so you said that before, I could go around to all the neighbors and ask them if they got packages. Well, and that's the other thing, did you tell them how big the boxes are?
No.
3 feet by 2 feet by 1 feet. 2 boxes. One's 30 pounds, one's 10 pounds.
Yeah, they're like crates, kind of.
Not little bitty boxes.
Yeah.
But it would be nice if I could just talk to the driver who dropped it off and say, what did the house look like? Because we live in the country. Everybody's houses are super unique. Like.
Yeah. And what did they say? They said they'll bring it up at their morning meeting. The gal you were talking to was in Tennessee.
The gal
we're
I talked
in Minnesota.
to, yeah, she can't even get a hold of anyone in the division. They don't give her the phone numbers to do that. So, likely excuse.
So they said they'll bring it up in the morning meeting tomorrow, and then. So, I don't know. I'm still hopeful that they'll just somehow they'll turn up.
Dawn's the eternal optimist.
Yep.
I am not.
No.
So
I'm hopeful somehow tomorrow morning they're going to show up, or a neighbor's going to say they accidentally got him and they saw our name on him.
To me, the world just ended. So
it'll work out.
I want my trees.
Yeah. So, but otherwise the rest of the weekend, the fence panels were back, like they ran out at the store, but we really got to get those up to do anything else with the garden. So I don't know, this weekend could be a little bit of a bust if some things don't come together.
Plus it's Mother's Day.
Oh, yeah, that's right too.
I'm kidding. It's Mother's Day.
No, I know. Yeah, so my mom and my sister and I Saturday afternoon. So Saturday afternoon before Mother's Day, the three of us are just gonna go out, and I don't know what we're gonna do. Probably go out to lunch and stuff and hang out. And then Sunday we'll probably, for Mother's Day, we'll probably go to my parents and grill or something like that. So Tom's obviously, he has surprises. That's why he's not saying anything.
Sorry, I'm still thinking about trees.
It's okay. We don't make a huge deal out of Mother's Day and Father's Day, but
if we had trees, we would.
Yeah, I would have 120 Mother's Day presents right now. All right, well, our memory card filled up, but I think it was time to let Tom go. He's a little crabby. I did want to show you, so we moved into our house in April, and so, I mean, when we were buying and everything, there was snow on the ground. We didn't really know anything, much about the property. We could see the buildings, of course, but so one of the very first things that I saw after we moved in were these red tulips that are planted in front of our little barn. So I wanted to show you those quick. And then now over here, we then saw there were some lilies and some white peonies that we transplanted over here. And so it was so fun that first spring, just seeing everything that was coming up, the asparagus, the peonies, the tulips, there's a clematis on the back side of the house. There's these awesome rose bushes, and so it was just like this treasure, hunt, like the first year that we were here to see everything that was gonna come up. And now it's been fun to kind of add some of our own things. Last year for Mother's Day, I got another peony plant, so I planted on the other side here, and so I don't know, it's just fun, isn't it? And like how a $10 plant can last for years and years and years now. I think that's so cool. And then last weekend we got the kids, they wanted gardening gloves, but they call them weeding gloves. And so we just went to the dollar store and got them just the really cheap garden gloves there, and they were going crazy, like weeding the different beds and in the garden and helping to spread out the dirt and all that. And so it was so fun, and they take so much pride in it. They love the garden now. I mean, if you don't plant anything with your kids, I think even if it's just like one pot in your backyard, I think it's so fun to plant stuff with them when it comes up. And like the first cucumber of the year is like huge around our house, and so it's so fun and it's so gratifying. And so I think that's a really cool thing to do with your kids, or even if you don't have kids, just to do for yourself. I think we get kind of removed from like the wonder of nature when we're not in it every day. So anyways, if you want to, I think it's cool to plant something. But that's kind of our weekend coming up. I am hopeful that these silly trees are gonna show up. I mean, I don't know, there's just only so many places 120 trees can go, and so I don't know, I feel like they have to show up. So we'll let you know. Oh, trust me, we'll let you know what happens to them. But we hope you have a really great weekend, and coming up on Tuesday we are gonna have our house tour. I'm hesitant to say that because I know some of you are probably like, yeah, we've heard that before, right? Like this infamous house tour. So I'm looking forward to sharing that with you too, so I'll work on that this weekend as well. But I hope you have a really great Mother's Day. I hope you have fun celebrating the mothers or the mother-like figures or just other women in your life. And if you are a mom, of course we hope you have a really great day. Leave below what you're doing for Mother's Day, or if there's a special, you know, woman in your life that you're recognizing this day. We'd love to hear all about her. So be sure to leave that down below. We hope you have a great weekend, and we'll look forward to visiting with you again soon.